Okay, hi everyone. So this is going to be the quick video with cameras and lights. So I'm going to use the scene that I had previously made when I was using the materials, and I'm going to show you how to add both of them. So the first thing you're going to do is if you click on this plus sign, again, that's your create button, and then you have your list of options. You can also go up here, hit create, and then you have all of the same things that you may use. But I'm going to start with lights because that's the one that's a little bit easiest to see first. So you'll notice a few things. When I click light, I'm going to have standard lights, and I'm going to have photometric. Photometric lights, if you click on it, it just reflects like a real light in the real world and the real lighting effects. For our purposes, I'm just going to go with standard, and I'm going to pick an Omni light, which is, if you've used Unity, it's kind of like a point light. And basically it extends light in all directions. So I'm going to click right here, and now you have your Omni light. I can go in and use like the shadows, and I can change these things right here if I want to. And I can, just like when I'm designing shapes, I can go in and edit all of the things that relate to the shape or the object before I click create. But in our case, I'm just going to go ahead and right click, and this is going to be my light. So the thing about the light now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move this onto my shape that's right here, is that it is, and you can see that it's reflecting. If you just have it on standard, you aren't going to see the light. So it's not going to actually show up in your scene until you go in and use this high quality. And now you can see this reflection and everything else. Now I'm also going to go ahead and move my object that's here over so I can see some shadows and some different things right there. And you can kind of see how this is working at this point. I'm going to go ahead and rotate around so you can see it. And there you go. So if I click on this light now, you can see that it's adding different shadows over here. And I've got kind of a scene that you can see. So lights have a lot of different properties. Like if I'm setting up the render, and I'm going to add that video to this just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But if I have this scene here and I wanted to render this background, and again, I'll just show you really quick thing that you can do to make this maybe look more realistic. So here this is, maybe I'm going to bring this up some. Maybe I can have this look like this. There you go. Or maybe I can bring this like further down. You can see that I have this like reflection. I'll also add, just for purposes, I'll just add a sphere kind of like this. Okay, so now you can really see the like effects that the lighting has had. I'm going to just sort of make this a little bit easier to see so you can see like the shadows right there. Whoops. Okay. Again, it does take, like I said, there is a lot of practice that you have to do. Now, some other things that you'll notice the light's reflection right here. I have this marble. And so any light you add, you can go in just like the other shape. So if I click this, let me make sure I'm on this Omni light, I can go to this modifier tab and I can change a lot of things about the scene. Now you'll notice, for instance, that when I have this shape right here, you see how this is kind of like, it's jagged a little bit. So if I wanted to change the shadows, see, this shadow map is a lot more, it shows more like soft shadows. So you can zoom in and you can still see them, but it may look like a little bit more realistic. I can also use advanced ray traced. You have area shadows, and then I have this one. Okay. I can also change again its color. So maybe I want to make this a little softer. Um, the one that's the most realistic when you look at the decay is called inverse square. Um, but I have all of these options right here, which are kind of cool to be able to use. Now, the next thing is you can go in and edit the parameters of light. Maybe I want to add another light. I'll just show you that too. So maybe I want to add a spotlight like this, which becomes kind of like a flashlight in a way. So if I go to my spotlight, you'll also notice this one has like a target, but now when I move it, you can see another completely different option. So a lot of lights will have kind of like you'll have maybe 3 or 4 lights in a scene at times, which can be kind of cool um, to be able to make adjustments to your scene. All right. So here we go. This is my scene right here. I'm going to turn off the edge faces just so I have more of a clear view. So if I like this room and I wanted to export it, the way to do that, and I'll go ahead and do the cameras right now. So I'm just going to do a standard camera. I'm going to pick a free camera, and then I'm going to add it. Now again, this right now it's facing this down. It's looking down at this point. So I may or may not want to use it like this. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate this. And then I'm also going to um, move it back some just so I can see this a little more. Now to see what the camera sees, and I actually find this to be really helpful for one of these views. In this case, I'm going to go to this perspective. I'm going to go to cameras. I'm going to look through here. So you can see like right now, this is what my camera is seeing. And that's not great. That's not really what I want the camera to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to affect, or I'm going to try to change how the camera is looking at the scene. So it's right here, but if I bring this up, now I can see that this is what my camera kind of sees at this point. And I'm going to change this to default shading like this. And it's kind of upside down, it looks like. So yeah, and this is just a demo. You can always go in and change it from this point. Okay. So you have a few different types of cameras. You have a target camera, which adds a shape and it will basically center around the target. So I'll just show you really quick. Like I have a spot target. And so this target here, I'll go ahead and go to the scene. This target of the spotlight is basically facing this direction. So if I want it to change where it looks, I can just move the target like this. I can still move the light if I want to, but this target gives it its space. All right. So if I like this scene, the next thing that I can do is I can go up here to rendering, and then I'm going to go into render setup. And I'm going to pick this one, this Quicksilver one, just because it tends to run a little faster. And then I can click render. And you will see the scene start to appear. So just keep in mind, it does take a second sometimes, but it does, you'll see the scan line, you'll see it kind of goes across with these lines. But this is how you would render something. Once you've rendered it, you can hit save. And that's what designing scenes is like. That's how you would do it. So the last thing that we are going to cover is animation.